Namaste, dear friends. In this video, I'm going to be speaking about the theory of the Gunas, a foundational concept that underlies yogic practice, which comes from Samkhya philosophy. Samkhya philosophy is a philosophical system that predates yoga philosophy. A significant part of the Yoga Sutras rests on foundational concepts brought forward by Samkhya philosophy. To understand the gunas, we must first understand the concepts of Prakriti and Purusha. Prakriti and Purusha are the two polarities of the universe that cannot exist meaningfully without the other. Prakriti is considered to be nature itself, while Purusha is considered to be pure consciousness. Prakriti or nature is unconscious without Purusha. Prakriti is considered to be the divine feminine and the force of creation itself. However, the force of Prakriti can lead to disaster if the guiding principle of consciousness or Purusha is absent. Looking at the human species, you clearly see this. An infatuation with the material world without equal attention to cultivating one's consciousness creates disaster. Purusha is the intelligent guiding principle in nature. In the quest of Purusha or consciousness to know its own true nature and achieve liberation, it uses the material world to do so. Without Prakriti, Purusha is unable to explore this world. Only through the limitations imposed by the physical nature of the world can Purusha experience liberation. Purusha is everything at once and needs to be embodied in matter to experience different things one at a time. Thus, Samkhya philosophy is showing us how we must give the reins of control over to the Purusha to guide our nature. Nature or Prakriti is composed of the three gunas. The gunas can literally be translated to qualities. In some texts, gunas are also referred to as ropes that bind the soul Atma to the physical and material world. There are three gunas: Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. I will first explain each of the gunas and then go on to explain how they interact with each other. The Sattva guna has the characteristics of lightness, weightlessness, purity, peace, and happiness. When sattvic qualities are predominating within us, we seek out truth, peace, and happiness. We are naturally calm and enjoy mental and emotional lightness. The Rajas guna has the characteristic of change, movement, and activity. When Rajasic qualities are predominating within us, we strive to do, achieve, and change our current situation. We are constantly in motion, trying to improve ourselves or trying out new things. We are on the go, have big dreams, big ambitions, and drive. The third, the Tamas Guna, has the characteristics of inertia, heaviness, sloth, darkness, and ignorance. Other qualities are doubt, lack, shame, attachment, and guilt. When tamasic qualities are predominating within us, we feel stuck, sad, and low on energy. We feel the weight of the world bearing down on us. We feel a reluctance to change and prefer to blame others for the situation we find ourselves in. The gunas are continually changing. As they are so easily changeable, it is difficult to remain predominantly in one guna for long periods. Though it is difficult, it is still possible to remain in one of the gunas for long periods. For spiritual practice, we want to cultivate sattva guna. Ultimately, as our practice matures, we would like to transcend all the three gunas and escape their bindings. There is a natural pull from sattva guna to tamas guna and vice versa. This pull is mediated by the rajas guna. For instance, imagine one is stuck in the tamas guna, feels depressed, and has a lack of energy. A laziness and a lack of motivation permeates the individual. After a few days or weeks of this tamasic quality predominating, the individual will begin to feel a tug, a pull from the rajasic guna. They start to feel the need to change and pick themselves out of this darkness. This rajasic quality might show up in the form of an inner fire to do better and get themselves out of this situation. Usually, the rajasic energy, if tapped into, will lead the individual towards sattva guna. The individual might make a commitment to finding purpose and going after their goals, which will eventually lead them towards feeling lighter, more peaceful, and happy. On the other hand, it is also possible to ignore or suppress the Rajasic guna and be resistant to change, festering in Tamas guna. On the other hand, when Sattvic guna predominates, one feels peaceful, happy, and at ease. After a few weeks of experiencing the Sattva guna, the individual will begin to feel a tug from the Rajas guna. This might be experienced in the form of restlessness or a desire for excitement and change. The individual might come to believe that some other external experience will make them feel even more joyful and full of life. Thus, slowly, Rajas again begins to predominate as the individual explores a new experience. After this movement to change, the individual might be pulled to tamas guna for a short period or can retain their sattva guna. In this way, the gunas are constantly changing, pulling us towards experiencing different kinds of experiences. Each guna is a rope that binds us to the material and physical plane of existence. The tamas guna binds us to victimhood, ignorance, and defeatism. The rajas guna binds us to passions, cravings, and intense desires. The sattva guna binds us to becoming attached to knowledge and joy. All the three gunas bind us down to the ego. To transform the ego, we must ultimately rise beyond the three gunas and into witness consciousness. In the path leading there, we must use all the three gunas to our advantage and try to come into a state of balance with all three of them. I hope this makes sense. We are trying to come into this balance then by doing various practices. For instance, Patanjali recommended the 8-limb path of yoga. The Buddha, for instance, recommended the eightfold path. So there are many different paths to come out or to transcend the three gunas. But while we are still within the framework of the gunas, we want to activate or enhance as much as possible the sattva guna, while at the same time suppressing the tamasic guna and using the rajasic guna to create this movement towards peace, joy, and happiness. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I will see you again on an upcoming video. Namaste.